From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
I'm Mitch Slade. Masks in public schools have proved to be a contentious issue in Billings. I take a look at both sides of the argument coming up.
Today, hundreds gathered in Worland, Wyoming to say their long-awaited goodbyes to a hometown hero who had been missing for more than a half century. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us midweek. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, just 2 days after the remains of a Vietnam veteran finally made it home, the hero is laid to rest. A moment his family had always hoped for, but never knew they'd see. On Monday, Lieutenant Ray Krogman received the homecoming he deserved as people lined up from Billings all the way to his hometown of Worland, Wyoming. Q2's Brandon Warren made the trip today to bring us the story.
Vietnam veteran First Lieutenant Ray Krogman had previously been listed as missing in action until recently when his remains were found and identified. Now, he has arrived at his final resting place, his hometown of Worland, Wyoming. A service was held for him complete with full military honors, including a flyover. The initial service was held at Worland Middle School and then moved to Riverview Memorial Gardens. Hundreds showed up to pay their respects to the fallen hero, and Krogman's nephew says he is appreciative of that.
Thanks to all the support from all the communities, the Patriot Guard, all the military, the Bryan funeral, and anywhere you go, people are reaching out, and it's unbelievable. The trip from Billings was amazing. I'm sure you knew how hot it was, and I just teared up with all the people standing out in the heat and to be able to honor him. Everybody knows he was a great guy. I always enjoyed being around him, and he was somebody to look up to.
The family is happy to have their uncle home. In Worland, Brandon Warren, MTN News.
Thanks so much, Brandon. The mayor of Worland proclaimed July 21st Alva R. Krogman Day in honor of the veteran's service and sacrifice. Well, in Billings Public Schools, they'll be back in session come August 23rd, and it's likely students and staff will start the year without a mask mandate. As Q2's Mitch Slade found out, parents are weighing in with mixed reaction.
Billings School Board trustees voted unanimously earlier in the week to give the superintendent discretion on whether to require masks to be worn by Billings school staff and students. However, some Billings parents say that masks should be a personal choice.
I feel like masks should be optional at this point. So many people have decided to go for the vaccines. You know, we always see this, fully vaccinated staff and, guests can not wear a mask. It should be like that for the school system as well. It's our children, it's our lives. We hear a lot of the times, our body, our choice. Masks should fall into that.
Morgan Scheffelman is the mother of an 8-year-old daughter who attends McKinley Elementary in Billings. Last school year, her daughter attended classes in person and, like other students, was required to wear a mask except during certain points of the day for physical activity or meals. Scheffelman's daughter has ADHD, and the family was worried that she would get into trouble for not consistently wearing a mask.
We had a wonderful teacher with her last year who had multiple kids in her class that had the ADHD. And so, I'm very thankful for that. I wonder, if we had a different teacher, would it have been a different outcome for her? Would she have been told more, you need to put your mask on?
Scheffelman worked as a teacher's aide with Laurel Middle School last year and said that she spent a lot of time asking students to keep their masks on rather than learning. Another Billings mom said that she felt more cautious, especially after Wednesday's news from the Centers for Disease Control that the more contagious Delta variant of the virus now accounts for 83% of COVID cases in the U.S. that have undergone DNA analysis.
When you're inside in a closed room, it has nowhere to go. So my biggest worry is sending them back and we'll be back in lockdown or there'll be more variants to come from this as those go unvaccinated.
Megan Classic has two of her oldest kids enrolled at Arrowhead Elementary. Last year, they were in kindergarten and first grade. She said the school district did a good job at COVID safety last year, and that her kids adjusted to face masks well.
But I want the school to take it seriously. I think they did a phenomenal job last year, making sure it was safe. They communicated really well with parents. They had all the safety measures, and I'm asking them, do that again this year until this virus is gone, or at least more contained.
July guidance from the CDC and American Academy of Pediatrics both say that masks in school settings should be worn by people who aren't or cannot get vaccinated. In the July school board meeting, Superintendent Greg Upham said that unmasked summer classes so far haven't seen any COVID-19 outbreaks. Billings students and teachers likely won't have to wear masks to start the school year, but there's still about a month left until classes start, and time for Upham to use his discretion to require masks if the COVID situation changes in the community. Upham also said that he will continue to rely on local health professionals to make decisions about coronavirus prevention in the Billings schools, particularly the Unified Health Command, made up of people from the Yellowstone County Public Health Department, Billings Clinic, and St. Vincent Healthcare. Reporting in Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Mitch. Now, Mitch tells us that one thing both moms noted was that they found a silver lining in all of this, and that was spending more time with their family. Well, now to the weather scene and Chief Meteorologist Ed McIntosh. Ed, we have some storms swirling around us right now.
That's right, yeah, and some of these could really put down some wind. That's our number one concern, but also lightning. We've had some reports of some hail with some of the storms as well. Statewide, you see a lot of that activity in central and western Montana, but zoom down right in close to Yellowstone County, Bighorn County, Montana as well. Just coming out around Columbus and Joliet, we've had some stronger cells along with some lightning strikes there, and we could see strong wind gusts throughout the evening hours. The area most likely for strong to severe storms is going to stay in western and north central Montana for tonight, but tomorrow we still have more storms expected with these gusty winds, especially across the eastern plains. More details on our hot forecast coming up.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, tonight, 19 large fires are burning across Montana, and the state remains at the highest preparedness level. And that's just part of the briefing given to Governor Greg Gianforte today. The Department of Natural Resources and Conservation told the governor that Montana remains at preparedness level 5, and the Northern Rockies region is the priority region in the country. And on top of that, the Alder Creek fire in the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest is the top priority fire in the nation. That's because of threats to structures. Now, in our area, the Robertson Draw fire remains at just under 30,000 acres and is 85% contained. The 4,100-acre Crooked Creek fire is also 85% contained. And the MY complex has just burned under 29,000 acres, is 93% contained. The 2,300-acre Harris fire near Joliet was contained last night. Now this year, 1,500 fires have burned 200,000 acres in Montana. 500 of those started just this month. Now the state has spent $8.9 million of its $105 million budget. Well, not even high-paying jobs in the Bakken oil fields have helped to fend off a growing shortage of workers. Now, the problem has now reached the point where North Dakota state officials are concerned that workers who lost their jobs during the pandemic slowdown will not return. In his monthly report, Mineral Resources Director Lynn Helms said at current oil prices, there should be anywhere from 20 to 25 hydraulic fracturing crews working across the Bakken. Instead, inspectors report only 8 crews in the field this week. Helms points to the worker shortage as a big reason that North Dakota's oil production remained flat from April to May of this year. It increased by just 0.4%. North Dakota's oil industry did set a couple of new records in the month of May. The number of producing oil wells statewide reached a new all-time high at 16,612. Also, McKenzie County, south of Williston, is the first in the state with more than 5,000 active oil wells. Now, to put that in context, in April of 2006, the entire state of North Dakota had only 3,525 active wells. Well, a top Republican state senator has been charged with obstructing a peace officer after a highway traffic stop. Now, the charges say that Jason Ellsworth of Hamilton tried to avoid a ticket or arrest by citing his status as a legislator. MTN's Mike Dennison has more.
Ellsworth was stopped on Highway 287 just south of Townsend at about 10:20 p.m. on Sunday, May 23rd, after a state trooper clocked him at 88 miles per hour in a construction zone where the posted limit was 55. He's being charged with speeding in a construction zone, reckless driving, and obstructing a peace officer, all misdemeanors. The officer had planned to give him a warning, but said Ellsworth got out of his car, approached her, and started citing the state constitution, saying he was exempt from arrest because he was a legislator going to a legislative session the next day. The trooper ordered him back to his vehicle several times before he complied, and Ellsworth allegedly asked if she wanted him to call the state attorney general. Attorney General Austin Knudsen said in a statement Tuesday that Ellsworth's actions were inappropriate and that the patrol officer acted professionally. The state constitution says legislators are exempt from arrest during sessions of the legislature, unless they're involved in a felony or breach of the peace. Ellsworth was driving to Helena, where he planned to attend a meeting of the Legislative Council the next day. The legislature was not in regular session at that time. Ellsworth declined to talk to MTN News Wednesday. A spokesman for the GOP Senate majority said Ellsworth tried to call the patrol officer afterwards to apologize if he came off as unprofessional, which was not his intent. Ellsworth is the president pro tem of the current Montana Senate. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Now, Ellsworth is scheduled to appear August 3rd in Broadwater County Justice Court on that charge in Townsend. Now, Senate President Mark Blaisdell of Kalispell said he would have no comment on the incident while the case is still pending. Well, the state's largest electric utility has agreed to buy 80 megawatts of electricity from a new solar power project near Dillon. Northwestern Energy announced Tuesday that it has entered into a power purchase agreement with Apex Solar. Now, that agreement states that the company will start delivering that power beginning in November of next year. Northwestern serves about 388,000 customers throughout the state. It says the Apex deal will be the second major solar power contract that the company has arranged to help serve its customers across Montana. The other one is an 80 megawatt project by MT Sun in Yellowstone County. That's scheduled to start in January of next year. Now, the new contract is arranged under a law meant to encourage the development of small, independent, renewable power projects. Well, up next on tonight's MTN 530 News on Q2, Montana farmers praying for rain as they deal with the impacts of this ongoing drought. We'll take a closer look. And in sports, the highest of highs will meet the one Montanan who's looking to climb where many Americans would not dare.